Hey guys, just wanted to record this quick video on how to create a new document in Adobe Illustrator. So when you fire up the software, you should see this general introductory sort of page or I guess, I don't know, like kiosk, whatever you want to call it. And up in the top left-hand corner, there's this big blue button called New File, but I also want to point out that um, essentially, in Adobe Illustrator, it's going to show you all the previous documents that maybe you were opening and closing and working with. So all of these are here for your review, just so that you can, click on them and get to them quickly. Um, to start a brand new document, you come over here and click the big blue button that says New File. Okay. Once that happens, this interface will pop up and you have to fill in a few details. It's really nice. They have like some templates, and if you're doing film, video, art, illustration, social media, branding, so they have like these prepackaged sort of options for you. Um, I think in a lot of my classes, I end up just advising students to come over here and maybe, plug in their own information. So one thing that's important is to rename your project instead of it being something random like Untitled One. You can call it Project Dash One, okay? And then maybe you want to call it Album Cover or something intuitive so that you can find it later when you're doing a search on your computer. Um, there's this drop down if you click this chevron here, and there are different units or increments that you can choose. So pixels, points, picas, inches, feet and inches, yards, etc., etc. For a lot of the projects that you'll be doing in my class, it'll probably be inches because we're doing a lot of print work. Sometimes picas are popular in the publication world to be thinking about. And if you're doing web-based work, you're probably going to be thinking in pixels, okay? So, but for today, we're going to choose inches. And then let's say instead of 8.5 by 11, which is the standard size for a sheet of paper, maybe we want it to be 11 by 17. So type in 11 by 17, so 11 wide and 17 tall. I also want to advise that you can change the orientation right here. So you can click landscape view or portrait view right here, and it'll toggle these increments back and forth. I think it's really important to understand that in Adobe Illustrator, you can have multiple sheets of paper or virtual sheets of paper called artboards. And so in this circumstance, we'll stay at the number one, but let's say you're creating a series of posters. You could, like add and say like, two artboards or three artboards or four artboards, okay? But for today, we're going to keep it simple at one. It's really nice. You can add a bleed to your document right here. I'm keeping this set at 0. You can define the background contents. So maybe you want the sheet of paper to just be alpha channel, which is that way by default, but maybe you want it to be a particular color. So, you can go in and modify that. Usually what I would do, honestly, is I would create a layer for that specific color in the software, but maybe I'm just kind of old school in my thinking and doing. CMYK, I think, is a good place to start if you're doing print work, but if you're going to be doing um, web work, you might consider RGB because, of course, color is rendered on the screen through RGB, and CMYK is the color system for print media. So RGB stands for red, green, blue. CMYK stands for cyan, magenta, yellow, and K for key or black. Okay. I think it's always a better idea to start with a larger or higher PPI or DPI. 300 PPI is industry standard print quality, and then you can always export at a lower quality down the road. So 300 DPI, I think, is a really good place to start. Okay. So then when you're ready, you simply hit create. And then your artboard should look something like this. And notice how it is 11 inches tall and 17 inches high. Okay. Thanks, guys.